it up. It's the Record Machine with your host, Jimmy Hall.
Another minute, another hour, I'd transport you here if I had the power on board the starship. Deep in the night, I'll be your Captain Kirk. You can hold your captain tight, so I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. In another lifetime, we must have met. In the last harmonic convergence, 5,000 years, I just couldn't forget you. So I wait just a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. Yeah, I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. Said I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. So I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. I said I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. I said I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you again. I just can't wait to see you smile. I just can't wait this while. I just can't wait this while. I just can't wait to see you smile. I said I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. Oh, I wait a little while. I just can't wait to see you smile. Oh, said I wait.
We are back with part 2 of the Joe Viglione interview. Let's pick it up right where we left off.
Did I send you Slapback yet?
No, I don't think so.
Michelle Deere Cole, she worked with Jimmy Miller.
Okay.
And JoJo Lane was in her band. And JoJo Lane, a phenomenal model personality. We lost her back in 2006.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, I am too. We just had so much fun flying around the country with Jimmy Miller. It was just L.A. When we went to L.A. in 1986, I'd never been to L.A. And I got dressed in JoJo's clothing. I don't cross-dress. I just to be a spectacle, right?
Right.
So you got Jimmy Miller with the silver hair, like 45 years old, and JoJo Lane with the red lips and the red hair. And I'm sitting on the back. It's a convertible I had rented. So I'm sitting on the back looking like Elton John with her fur coat and the hat and the whole 9 yards. And it's like, look out Hollywood, here we come. But it was just fun days. We would do stupid stuff like that. And everyone just had a blast.
Tell me about the Cantab.
Well, I played the Cantab in 1974. And when COVID hit, Fitzy sold it. And Fitzy's a legendary character on the scene. And then the new regime bought it. And it's a bit corporate. But you can go back in time. There was the Cantones, which I ran in the 70s. And you know the comedian Mario Cantone?
Of course.
So Mario's grandfather is who I work for. Mario must have been like 5 years old.
Wow.
And we had, we had some famous acts come in there. I created, for Cantones, I created the Kill or Be Killed Slam Dance Nights, right? I was putting hardcore in the Paradise Theater, the Boston's best concert club. So Mario comes in, Joe, they broke 2 ceiling tiles. I said, Mario, ceiling tiles, $4. I sold out. Yeah, I had a line around the corner. I don't want it. I don't want the hardcore anymore. You know, thick Italian voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a real funny Mario Cantone story. I wonder if I should say it on camera. I'll
Let's hear it.
Oh, so the Rathskeller was in Boston, big nightclub that Barry and the Remains kind of opened. You know that band, Barry Tash and
Yep.
Beatles with Bobby Hebb, the final Beatles tour. That's what broke up the Remains. But they were having parties at BU, selling out. So they opened up the Rathskeller again, and they cleaned it up and made it happen. And Mario wanted to move into Kenmore Square where the Rat is. But there was this nightclub run by Henry. I'll just say Henry. God bless him. God bless Henry. He's not doing well these days, health-wise.
Sorry to hear that.
So, but Henry's a very powerful man in the Boston scene. And so, like I said, Mario, you know, we're going to have to contend with Harry if we move next door to that building, that movie theater. He goes, don't worry. We know the Angelos. Those are a big, they were very Italian and very well known in Boston, okay? So we're at the board meeting with the realtors, and they go, what about Henry? And I said, don't worry. And they look at me like a gasp, like, what about Henry? And I said, don't worry. And my business partner at the time, she goes, what was that all about? I said, Mario said, don't worry. We know the Angelos.
Wow.
We're going into kind of like Soprano territory here.
Gotcha.
So, like, you know, I'm crazy. What am I doing negotiating like that? But we just, you know, we're rock and rollers. We just didn't think. But that was, but God bless them. The Angelos have passed. The wonderful Angelos have passed, and the wonderful Mario Cantone has passed on, and JoJo's passed on. And I'm sitting here, and so many people have passed on. I can't believe it, Jimmy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that does happen. I mean, all the great people that you meet along the way, sometimes, you know, some of them leave us, you know, sooner than we'd like.
Oh, a Bobby Hebb interview with you would be gold. My artists love you. They're like, this guy Jimmy's great. You've hit 5 stars with every one of them.
I love it. I love doing it. To me, it's more rewarding than just playing, you know, records for a radio station. I get to play the records of the people that I'm interviewing and then tell the story behind the music. I think that's more rewarding for me. And I think it's great to share.
The work you're doing, Jimmy. It's very important work. I wanted to interview Tiny Tim. I didn't go down the expressway. It was rush hour. And what happens? Tiny passes away. So I missed that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. It's like people like you and me, we have this passion where we want to get that story. We want the big story. We want it to get out. We want people to hear the music. That's what we're about. You know what I mean?
Well, why I brought up the New Christy Minstrels was Jimmy Miller's manager was George Greif of Greif Garris, and he also handled Jose Feliciano and the New Christy Minstrels. But I guess he had 2 different New Christy Minstrels going down the East Coast and one down the West Coast. You had John Denver and Tim Carnes and Kenny Rogers, right? All these people in the New Christy Minstrels. Great breeding ground for rock stars.
Right.
But George Greif, we're in his parking lot, and JoJo had this very expensive bracelet from her uncle, thousands of dollars. It goes flying off her hand. We could never find it at George's office. Weird. So we go up to George's office, and he was so good to me. All the times I met him, he just let me use the office to do my work. Amazing. I'm in, you know, Hollywood or LA, wherever Greif Garris was, and this is the building. This is the guy that used to manage Jimmy. What I didn't know was upstairs, Alan Douglas had all the Jimi Hendrix masters upstairs from George Greif's office.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I would have went up there and taken photos of all the master tapes. It would have been amazing. But who knew? But George was just a nice guy, managed Jose and Jimmy, and meeting these people, people never heard the names of these power players behind the scenes.
Who is the most intriguing person that you ever met?
There's so many. I've been very blessed. I just thank God that I got to hang out with Marianne Faithfull. I love her.
She's amazing. I mean,
I think I saw her last September 1994 buying her book.
wow.
We had met twice. We'd had dinner, and then we met backstage at a Steve Winwood concert. And then I go get her book. I had to, and it was around September, and she just looks at me and says, "Give my love to Jimmy Miller."
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy died like 6 weeks later. He was gone. I never got to give him her love.
Wow.
But I just remember being with Marianne, at the Harvard Coop, buying her book, and that she just said that lovingly, "Give my love to Jimmy." Just amazing, magical people like Marianne. They have the battle scars, and they survived, and they made great records. And she's still making great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So intriguing people. She's one of them, of course. Keith, of course. Jodie Foster. There's just so many. Alfred Hitchcock.
What about Rob Fraboni?
Well, Fraboni's a friend, so you kind of I don't take him for granted.
Uh-huh.
Like what I said to Bobby Hebb, I said, I differentiate the fact that I'm a crazy mad fan of yours and that we're buddies.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, Bobby called like every other day. We're on the phone all the time. We're best of friends. But I said, still don't deny the fact that I'm the mad crazy fan. But I'm also considered the number one expert in the world on the work of Bobby Hebb. I'm very proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more to the man than people know. He was just brilliant. He was on a Jimi Hendrix level, and they knew each other, of course, because they had the same bass player.
Well, the Hebb estate hired you basically to keep the legacy going, correct?
Right. And so there's myself, there's Katoto, and there's like Eric Halodny is like in the publishing division, and Eric is probably second to me. He knows a lot more about Bobby in certain areas, but I know the catalog. I'm the catalog guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the legacy, and Eric's very impressed with what I bring to the table. Because guys like you and I, we do, I did the interviews. I find out stuff. Eric is the guy that signed Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the great bass player, Ben Tucker, discovered Sonny. He was playing on the demo on bass, and Bernard Purdy on drums. Bernard Purdy's another guy, a friend of mine, that is like one of the most interesting people of all time. You got to interview Purdy.
Definitely.
Deacon Blues he did with Steely Dan, and he played with Aretha for many years, and the Orpheus. And Bernard's a lovely interview.
Cool.
And just a dear friend. Steve Hawley from Wings. I'm trying to get you an interview with Steve Hawley.
That would be cool.
But he's been busy. But here's a guy that was playing for Elton John, and Paul McCartney calls him up. And then Jethro Tull calls him up, and he goes, "What do you do when you're playing with Elton and Paul calls you?" I said, "You have to go with Paul." Elton would go with Paul. There's just no question, as JoJo would say.
Right.
But these people are magic. So Steve Hawley, when he plays on my sessions like Katoto's, he adds what he calls fairy dust from like Apple Studios. It's funny. Magical people, as JoJo used that term, magical people, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve Hawley's one of the great personalities that I've met, but then Bernard Purdy, and they're both two of the greatest drummers of all time. Grammy-winning award winner, Steve Hawley. So very blessed and good people. Steve Hawley, Rob Fraboni, Bernard Purdy, these are very good people.
Definitely. Now, tell me about the start of visual radio. I want to hear about that.
All right. So the person I wrote Can't Wait to See You Smile About was living with me, and we were having a very bad breakup.
Mm-hmm.
So like 1992, so-and-so decides to move in with me. Okay. And like, so I put the TV show on hold. I actually was researching the show in 1992 to come back, because the first show was 1979, right? So I got Marty Balin, Bobby Hebb, all these people I want to reach out to. I contacted Bobby Hebb in the 80s, but he said, you have to talk to my lawyer. Very private man, but that was our first contact. So so-and-so moves in. We lived together 2 years. I was very much in love, and it was a very abusive relationship. I'll end it there. So it ended badly, and I throw myself into TV.
Mm-hmm.
I call Marty Balin, and I don't go seeking him out in the bookstore. I call Daddy. Joe Buchwald got me in touch with him, and then I write to Bobby Hebb, and I said, we want to interview you for Goldmine, and Tortelli wants to interview you for Goldmine. I want to interview you for my TV show. And Bobby comes all impeccably dressed, and we had so much fun on that first interview, and we became friends almost instantly. And he's a very, very private man. I learned later on he chooses his friends very carefully. So that's a great honor in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to open a TV show, right, with like Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Marty Balin, soon to be Grammy winner over Sonny, Bobby Hebb,
Mm-hmm.
and then Oltie and the Barbarians, and Fred Schneider from the B-52s, and all these amazing people coming to me. It was just a lot of fun up at cable TV. Big Brother and the Holding Company. Here I am taping
Mm-hmm.
the lineup before they started dying off. There's only like David Getz right now, the drummer, and the bass player is still alive. But I'm up there with like most of the band, playing Peter Albin Peter Albin, I think, and I forget who still live, but I know Dave is still living because it was his birthday last week, and he said thank you for the birthday wish. Great people. But I'm on stage taping the same exact sound that Janis Joplin felt while she's singing. They're still alive. This is 1995, Jimmy.
Right.
And that was show number 50, and I'm on stage with these dudes, and I can feel the sound. And Hallie DeVestern, great singer. She's doing Janis's parts, and she's amazing. Hallie DeVestern is a great interview for you.
Oh, I'd love to.
Halley. She worked with Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Very cool.
Yeah, and when Janis left, who was it that Kathy? I love Kathy. She replaced Janis, and I reviewed her album, and now she's gone. So when we don't get these people, a lot of the story is gone.
Mm.
We just turned Lou Spinazzola's on Monday night. She'll be on tonight. Kathy McDonald. We turned him on. Pamela Ruby Russell and I turned him on to Kathy McDonald. I sent my review. He fell in love with her. These people are magic.
Oh yeah, Lou is great. He does a great show. Posts his show on Mixcloud as well.
Yeah, he has a phenomenal knack. His songs stay in my head all week because he played them.
Oh, he's brilliant the way he puts his shows together.
And he's humorous through the whole thing. You might not see it. It's on the chat, and he gets very humorous with people.
Oh, Lou is great. I mean, I've known him for a couple of years. I think he's on a channel called CFL, Super CFL. He's great, though.
You've known him longer than I have.
Yeah, I actually met him through when I used to do my music show.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been doing my the Record Machine show was actually a music show, and I've been doing that for about 20 years or so. I've been on some internet stations, and I had my own internet station, and I've met so many great people, over the years. And the funny thing is, a lot of them I'm very good friends with. I mean, I get text messages or emails from artists that I had on the show, and they'll be like, "Hey Jimmy, what do you think about this guitar solo in this?" Or "What do you think about this song?" or the title of this album and stuff. I mean, they actually come to me, totally flattered by it, but I've just met so many great people.
Well, I'd like to tell you about Doris Troy for a second.
Sure.
Doris was lovely, and I reviewed her Rainbow concert for All Music, Rainbow over in London.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me up. She goes, "Joe, no one ever acknowledges my Rainbow concert. It's so important." It was a gospel record, but it's Doris Troy. She's such a huge figure in Northern Soul in England. Her records go for a lot of money, and I was just so honored. But we chat, like with Bobby, we chat long chats on the phone. So I have something in my show called The Demo That Got the Deal.
Okay.
And I said, what was the demo that got the deal for Just One Look? She goes, that was the demo. I said, you're kidding. She goes, no, that was the demo we pitched, and they put it out.
Amazing.
So with the Box Tops. So we had Gary Talley, guitarist for the Box Tops, in his hotel room after a show.
Mm-hmm.
We played the Paradise with the Jay Giles Band. Right? And the Jay Giles Band sold out. No one can get in, but I was the booking agent at the Paradise years before. So Tortelli, we walk in the back door. He goes, you're amazing. I go, what? I worked here. You know, what's so amazing about it, right? But we walk in. It's completely packed. It's the Box Tops and Jay Giles Band. Best Jay Giles show I ever saw. And I used to manage Danny Klein. He's another guy you got to talk to, the Jay Giles bassist.
Very cool.
So, so great show. And then we go back with not Alex Chilton, who's the lead singer, and he's gone. And I wish I got to talk to Alex. But we got this Gary Talley interview, and Gary's important. And I said, what's the demo that got the deal for the Box Top? He goes, Joe, that was the demo. The only thing that they put over it was the airplane sounds. So the record label put those the jet airplane at the end of the letter, but he goes, the rest of it is the demo.
Wow.
So Lou Reed, the demo that got the deal, he goes, Joe, Andy Warhol got us the deal. We needed no demo. But if there was a demo, I'm sure you'd have a copy.
Nice.
Lou, knowing I collected everything he did. To get to talk to these people, Jimmy, and the demo that got the deal is a great question, because most times the demos are different takes.
Mm-hmm.
And we get this, it's like a snowflake. No two are the same. So every demo is different. Every demo that got the deal is different. Every record deal is different. And so that's my question, that kind of, and they like it because it's not the same old, same old. How did you do this, or how did you do that? It's kind of like a different avenue that they never went down before.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite part about this business?
I love it all. I love it all.
Is there anything that you don't like?
Oh yeah, the business people behind it. There's a lot of situations going on right at this moment I can't talk about, but it's like people do stupid things,
mm-hmm.
and I realize, like, wow, I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. That means I'm sane because they don't know they're crazy.
Right.
So me knowing I'm crazy, I'm the smartest one dealing with these lunatics. They are really out of their minds. There was one band, and I'm not working with them anymore. They took advantage of me, and they were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I got them an interview with T. Dawn. She's lovely out in California.
Okay.
And they're writing like obscenities and stuff. I said, you guys are tattooing your career. Do you get it?
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
No one else is going to get it. I said to the kid, he's 29, 30. I said, 5 years from now, you're going to regret it. You're going to be happy that I had to erase it. But I took them in the studio. I paid for the studio time back in May of last year, and they totally took advantage of me. They started producing their record.
Uh-huh.
It's out. It's so bad, Jimmy. So
they should have listened to you then.
Well, they had an amazing song, and they had an amazing foursome, and I got them from the Cantab.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an amazing draw, and they went and fired two of the guys who I believe were the biggest draw, and they were tempered. They had this lovely, amazing REM kind of sound, and now they sound like Mountain. Well, if I want Mountain, I've interviewed Mountain. If I want Mountain, I'm going to get Mountain. I don't want a new wave, new modern band sounding like Mountain.
Yeah, that's it's funny that you mentioned that, because I had on a couple weeks back, I guess during the December shows, I had Rev Jones on. He was the bass player for Leslie West and Mountain. Do you remember them?
There was Felix Pappalardi. I saw Mountain. I saw West Bruce and Lang when Jack Bruce played bass.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the new version.
Oh no, I didn't know. No, I don't know him. I knew.
Yeah, Leslie West. He had hired Rev Jones to play bass. Later on in the career. After the people that you knew were probably long gone already out of the band.
Yeah, West Bruce and Lang was interesting because they were like the new cream. You had, Felix Pappalardi had engineered or produced Cream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's with Leslie West, and they were kind of like a different kind of cream. But then you add Jack Bruce to the equation. It should have been a monster. They just didn't come out with a White Room or something to launch. They did 2 or 3 albums. They did 2 albums. There might be a live album too.
Yeah. So now, visual radio, is that still till this day you're doing that show?
Yes, in fact, I have a couple of directors, and I'm building a team. We're going to have Bob Hildeberg back on. Bob Hildeberg is the New England Patriots historian.
Oh, wow.
And Johnny Byers was this friend of mine. He passed away, but Johnny was this mad sports fan that called our local radio. The sports is huge in Boston, as you can imagine.
Of course.
With all the championships. So you've had the EEI and you have the 98.5.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny's known as John from Medford. So he really got screwed by the local cable company. He was going to invite Bob Kraft in and all these people. They didn't believe he could get to them. Even the mayor, they were all kind of like really pushing this guy around. And he's autistic. Brilliant at sports, but you got this autistic kid who is a really nice guy. Little did I know, my father told me, he goes, "Don't you realize who he is?" I said, "No." He goes, "Your grandmother lived next door to his grandmother with your mother." And, you were his uncle's caddy. We're very close to the Byers family. And Natalie and Josephine worked with me. They used to drive Josephine home. And it's like, oh, my God, that family, they're part of our family. So Johnny and I are close friends. I take him into Boston to meet the Celtics owner and a guy from the Bruins. Was it the Celtics at the time? No, Red Sox. The Red Sox and the Bruins at this convention.
Mm-hmm.
He goes and meets Bob Hildeberg. Bob Hildeberg is the Patriots historian. We're very good friends. And so I had Bob on the show a number of times, and now he's got a new book out. He is the New England Patriots stats guy.
Wow.
And so we're going to do a series of new shows with him. We're relaunching the show. Because of COVID and everything, I just shut it down.
So where can this be seen?
We're going to put it up on YouTube. I'm going to have a streaming YouTube channel, but we go to local cable stations.
Uh-huh. It's funny that you mentioned public access earlier. The first time that I ever heard of public access was when the movie Wayne's World came out.
And it is.
Isn't that funny?
It is. This accurate description of what public access is. It's insane.
Because I've never heard of public access before, and then I watched this movie and I'm like, wow, there's actually a thing called public access, and these morons can have a TV show and people watch it, and I'm like, this is pretty cool, and I'm like, But I never would have thought that it would have taken off the way it taken off, and like I said, I always wish now that I have, this technology that I have now when I was younger, because I feel like maybe I could have done more, but maybe it wasn't right for me to do it then either. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like I second guess things. What would have happened if I would have started interviewing people 20 years ago or 30 years ago?
You'd have a massive library.
Probably, yeah.
Now, here's a key thing about public access. Nick Vinay is the great guy that did the Jimi Hendrix, Curtis Knight contract, and Frank Sinatra. He was the head of A&R for Capitol Records.
Right.
So Nick Vinay and I met through Harriet Schuck, one of my favorite songwriters. She wrote Ain't No Way to Treat a Lady, Helen Reddy hit.
Oh, yeah. Great song.
Berry Gordy's Last Dragon. So she's one of my favorite songwriters of all time. And I'm in L.A., and she's doing a concert for me in her house. She started forgetting her words, so I started singing for her, and she knew she had a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And we were with P.F. Sloan's girlfriend, the guy who wrote Secret Agent Man. And
yeah, of course.
So P.F. Sloan's girlfriend, Jamie, and I met Harriet at a convention. I think it was May 12th, 1991. How's that?
Wow.
Well, my kitty cat died the next day, and I'm in L.A., and I'm sobbing inconsolably, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I meet Harriet. She invites us to her house. So Jamie and I are sitting there. She's playing the Hollywood Town album for me in her living room, 5 feet away from me. It was just such a magic thing, and we're very dear friends. So she started dating Nick Vinay, the great Beach Boy. He produced the Beach Boys. That was his big one. And he's in a lot of Beach Boys movies. They mention him because he produced their early records. So the whole thing is about public access TV. So now Nick passes away. Harriet writes me. It's the first internet notice of a friend of mine dying that I'm getting on email ever. It had to be 1998, I think.
Wow.
And I said, well, I got to have Nick on TV. How do we do this? She goes, I'll look around. She found me a public access TV station that had interviewed Nick Venet, and I have the tapes.
That's amazing.
So you see out there's little corners of the world people don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
One of them is cable TV, and we need to save this stuff before they throw it away, because they throw it away.
Right. Public access, all those shows. I don't know if you're familiar with like PBS. I mean, there's a DJ that always does specials on PBS. His name is TJ Lubinsky. He lives near South Jersey and Philly. I mean, he does amazing work with all these artists and bringing them back, like from the doo-wop eras and stuff like that. You know who I'm talking about?
Well, a friend of mine is the one who launched that for TJ.
Yeah. So,
Walter DeVen. Little Walter DeVen?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
So Little Walter passed away last year. But the important thing, what you're saying, what TJ Lubinsky's doing, of course, he's worked with Marty Balin, whom I've worked with.
Right.
6 degrees of separation. But I'm interviewing Little Walter for Visual Radio. You're going to love this. Little Walter's best friends with, was, Little Richard. Right? He did about 100 Little Richard concerts. So here on Visual Radio, we're rolling the tape.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, oh, yeah, I taped Jimi Hendrix and Little Richard. It's like, what? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's on my Visual Radio. So I called up John McDermott of the Jimi Hendrix estate, bring McDermott down to Little Walter's studio, where Little Walter was doing all the 50s remastering. Little Richard, Fats Domino. He was doing these box sets for Bear Records.
Okay.
And he's got this massive vault of tapes that are unbelievable. He played me the Beach Boys in stereo when they said the Beach Boys weren't in stereo, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like in 95. So he pulls out the Jimi Hendrix Little Richard tape, and I'm there with John McDermott, and for like the first time in like 45 years or something, we're hearing this concert from Revere Beach, and it opens with I Saw Her Standing There, the Beatles tune, Little Richard singing, Jimi Hendrix on guitar, and McDermott goes, that's Jimmy.
Wow. We
found the tape, so now we're negotiating with Sandy, Walter's wife, to get the tape out. Little Richard's gone, and Hendrix Estate wants to put it out, and so it's been going on for almost close to 30 years, but there's a tape, and it exists. So beyond public access, you brought up TJ Lubinsky and the work he's doing, and I'm bringing up that Little Walter created those doo-wop specials for PBS.
Right.
It was Little Walter involved with TJ, I guess, that made it happen. But it's all there for generating new content. It's all just your ideas. You never know what's going to click with the public.
Wow. So when is your next show?
Well, we're talking to Hildeberg. I'm building a new office, and so my director, I was talking to him, we could do a commercial show at my office.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not at public access where you can't do commercial. It has to be non-commercial, like NPR. So we could do a commercial show and build it on, and we'll launch with Bob Hildeberg. We'll talk about sports for the first show. Or you can rent an access station. People don't know that either. I rented a camera for the Marty Balin DVD.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally rent equipment from these stations or rent time from them and pay them. So we could go in and just pay the station, and then we own the tape, and we can put it on television or on the internet and make money.
Right.
You can't make money with the free aspect of public access, but if you rent from them, it's yours. So we might do it at my office. We're going to do 2 shows to start with Hildeberg. One will be non-commercial, one will be commercial. And we'll launch the 2. And then we'll start there's a great engineer that has a book out.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Hanley. Bill Hanley did the Beatles tour here in Boston. And Bill Hanley's legend. And so I think we're going to have Bill on the air or as co-author. We got a bunch of people lined up. As you know, there's never... guests are easy to come by.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said earlier, even someone off the street, everyone has a story.
Oh, of course.
everyone has a story. And each person probably has things that are very pertinent to life, stories that we can learn from.
Absolutely. I believe that. I mean, I think that we're all connected somehow. The way we meet each other and the way we talk to each other and stuff like that, I think it's meant for a reason.
Oh, there's some kind of electricity, Jimmy. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, why did I contact you? How did I bump into you on the web and make that connection? And you're watching Peloton, and I give you Kitoto first.
Right. You know, going through this whole the timeline that you sent me and everything, we covered a lot today, and I think that you have a lot to be proud of, my friend. You got quite the career going here.
We do it for the love of it. I humbly thank you for the compliment. I do. It's just what we do, Jimmy. It's in our blood.
Well, it's my pleasure, and you know, I always enjoy talking to people like yourself. Do you have a website you'd like to promote?
JoeViglione.com.
And what can we...
V as in Victor, ILION.com. You might find my reviews of that great Boston band Mass.
Mm-hmm.
You might find pictures of Alfred Hitchcock or something. You never know what I throw up there. That's not a good phrase. What I put up there.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you so much for your time, Jimmy. You're a gentleman.
Anytime, brother. Is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
I don't know. I just like random phone calls that make for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, you know, we could have talked this way without it being recorded. It's fun.
Right. Well, I feel like
random phone calls.
Yeah, me too. I feel like we're friends now. You know, like we can talk whenever we want. You know.
Oh, you can call here 24/7. I'm around.
Yeah, when I'm in town, I'll probably hit up Lewis too, and maybe see him do a show or something like that. You know.
Yep. And if you could play up in Maine on this show, that would be my request.
Awesome. Well, Joe, I want to thank you so much for coming on the program today. I really appreciate it. I mean, you are a very interesting guy. You have a great story, and I really appreciate all the great artists and talents that you sent my way so far.
And we all appreciate you. We do.
Well, thank you, brother. And, you know, anytime you got some more, you want to send them my way, or you want to come back on the show, or you want to do another phone call, definitely reach out and let me know, all right?
Yep, and I definitely want to send Rob Fraboni back your way.
All right, well, let's stay in touch, and I'll talk to you soon, all right, brother?
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, take care, bye.
Up in Maine, everyone likes up in Maine. Sandy and Joey, Gailey and Stevie, everyone likes up in Maine. The waves come in succession, another great vacation day. Bobby Hebb on the radio, he gives us his sunshine bouquet.
Thank you for the sunshine.
Double light in the distance, salt water in the air. The star of the sea, it talks to you and me, things you'll find only in Maine. Up in Maine, up in Maine, everyone loves up in Maine. Sandy and Joey, Gailey and Stevie, everyone likes up in Maine. Up in Maine, up in Maine, everyone likes up in Maine. Sandy and Joey, Stevie and Gailey, everyone likes up in Maine. The merry-go-round, you were lost, now you're found, everyone likes up in Maine. Up in Maine, up in Maine, everyone likes up in Maine. Sandy and Joey, Gailey and Stevie, everyone likes up in Maine. Up in Maine, up in Maine, everyone likes up in Maine. Sandy and Joey, Gailey and Stevie, everyone likes up in Maine. Up in Maine, up in Maine, everyone likes up in Maine. Gailey and Sandy, Stevie and Joey, everyone likes up in Maine. Up in Maine, up in Maine, everyone likes up in Maine. Sandy and Joey, Gailey and Stevie, everyone likes up in Maine.